So, how exactly are you involved with the resistance?
Oh, I know Rosa.
Oh, he knows her, alright?
Not like that. No, it's a little complicated. I should probably explain. I'm from Amiraloth, the capital of Nothal. It's where my sister and I grew up. Our parents worked for the government, I think. When I was about 18, a guy I had runic inscription classes with inherited his family's business. Officially, his parents had died in an accident, but rumour was he had murdered them. If only I knew about Ernest Drake then, what I know now. One night, Jay and I were working in our parents' lab when I heard people come running in, upstairs. There was a quick argument, and then I heard my father say,
"Our children are not here."
Huh? Wait! I said wait.
Have it your way then, little bird.
Oh my god.
And so it begins, with Ernest.
We hid until long after the magic had died down. I could have sworn I heard someone running away, so we just stayed there, waiting. I don't know how long we were out behind those boxes. Felt like several lifetimes. Eventually, I forced my legs to move. I pretty much had to drag Jay out of the lab. My parents were well-versed arcanists. The fight had all but destroyed the lab.
What happened? No.
But
Please.
it wasn't enough.
No.
I didn't know what to do. What if I had heard someone escaping? What if they came back? We can't go home. She was in shock,
Okay.
but Jay agreed. So we hid in the city. And then under it.
Back. Can you help me with this box?
Our parents had taught us more than enough magic to protect ourselves.
But
So that's how we lived. For almost 2 years, we scrounged for food, picked the odd pocket, we got by.
Great, but it'll do.
At least, until Jay was taken.
Taken?
I came back one evening with what I had managed to get for dinner, and she was already gone. But our hideout wasn't empty. One of Ernest Drake's men, the same bastards who killed our parents, one of them was there, waiting for me. Took almost till sunrise for the git to give up and leave. No. Jay. I haven't seen Jay since.
I'm sorry, Rook. It's not easy to lose people. Although, and I don't mean to be insensitive by changing the subject here, but I'm not really seeing what the Mayor of Kadar has to do with any of that.
Oh, right. Well, without Jay around, I got a little careless. Without her life on the line too, all the precautions we'd been taking seemed a little pointless. They hadn't even worked. They'd still found us. Found her. So I attempted to pick the pockets of this old noble. We had been avoiding them up until this point. You know what the rich are like. Angry to lose a single penny. I figured the gamble was worth the risk, and in a way, it was. He turned out to be Sarath, an acquaintance of my father's.
I doubt Shaclunera raised you to pick pockets, boy. At least not this poorly.
He took pity on me, and didn't turn me in. He said later I looked too much like my father to go to jail.
I need someone to carry my books for me anyway.
Sarath took me in as his apprentice. First time since my parents had died that I'd really felt safe. We were out of Ameriloth, in his tower outside of Ruxton. He taught me a lot. And that's where I met Rosa Zaradny for the first time.
It's quite simple, really, as the magic...
She arrived to be his apprentice. Of course, he hadn't told either of us that the other existed.
A unified circle.
We had to share a room. And of course, Sarath didn't notice, or maybe he didn't care, that it might be weird? Eventually. I don't know. There was magic in the air with Rosa around.
Is literally to remove the mystery.
But isn't that the best bit? The mystery.
The real mystery is, why are you so dumb?
Oh. So you're Rosa's partner?
No. I have been living with her recently. But no. You could say we broke up. Shortly before I met this lot.
New Year's rebound. Midlife crisis, perhaps.
Yeah, Ione only knows what I was thinking.
Oh.
Rosa and I were on the road to Imardin, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We were together a while, before we parted ways.
The complexities of magic have confounded even the greatest practitioners of the ages.
We both learnt a lot from Sarath, and from each other.
How do we do it?
I don't get it. It's just too hard.
Wait for me.
Merriloth waits for no man.
Sarath would drag us around back and forth from Merriloth.
Your homework,
Doing chores, studying,
for advanced practitioners by
building.
Boris Hellborn. Very, very fascinating, if not a little dull.
Speaking of, we actually helped him build this massive mechanism into his tower, which, if we had finished it, would have rotated each floor independently of the others, which meant...
Cool. Not really relevant, though.
Right, yeah. So, usually, whenever he went to Ameriloth, he would take at least one of us with him as an assistant, to carry his stuff or research things for him whilst he was in meetings. At some point, he stopped taking me with him. It was always just him and Rosa. They'd come back, and we'd go through what happened in the day, unpack supplies, have dinner.
No.
One night, they came back,
I'm sorry.
and Sarath is unusually quiet. He went to bed without eating. Something felt wrong. I laid awake in the dark that night, worrying.
Stop where you are. You're gonna go no further. You'll take him again. Not again!
We didn't make it up the stairs in time. So we ran. First my parents, then my sister, then Sarath. Always these hollow-eyed malefactors of drakes. There was a chance Jay was still alive, so we set about following her trail. We thought finding her might lead us to Drake. 2 birds, 1 stone. It wasn't long before the trail led us off Knothole and into northwest Viridia, to a town called Faberston. We thought Drake was smuggling slaves through there, so we went to investigate. See if he had moved Jay through, or if, by some miracle, she was still there. She wasn't. A man named Grimethorpe was waiting for us instead. Somehow, our whole plan, our fake names, our made-up story as to why we were there, none of it mattered.
You thought you'd come here and interrupt my business, did you? Valdezar? Zamina? Or maybe I should say Rook and Rosa?
Son of a bitch!
Well, it matters naught to me what you call yourselves. You're gonna watch each other die all the same. Should we say ladies first?
Bastard!
Shame. You've such a pretty face. Melora's tits! What is that?
Samina!
Now!
Stop her!
We walked for a couple of days, in almost complete silence. Then, we started to fight. I'm sorry you got mixed up in this.
Sarath has been dead for 3 long years, and how much closer to justice
I
are
lost
we?
the right to complain from the moment I picked Sarath's pocket.
The worst thing about it is that he probably
I already
knew.
know it's on me.
He knew that you were going to get him killed, and he took you in anyway.
Goodbye, Zamina.
Don't you turn your back on me. Coward!
We mutually decided to go our separate ways, so I carried on to Amardin. I thought there might be magic there that would help me find Jay. It had been on our list of places to check out.
And that's where we found him.
When we were in Kadar, did not Rosa say she had found Jay?
Yeah, Saxon thinks he saw her as he escaped Omeroloth. Once we've dealt with this, We're going to liberate Knothole. And hopefully find Jay. I was actually hoping you'd all agree to come with us.
Yeah!
Yeah, of course we'll
Alright,
come.
bud.
No need to fear, little one. I'm always ready for a fight.
You gotta love that kind of enthusiasm.
Guys, you should look at this.